Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. This is your brother, Coach Zubair. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Module 3. In this module, we'll be starting to talk about what is a coach, what does a coach do, and we'll try to do a quick recap and then we'll quickly wrap up this module. So as we go into this thing, I would like to remind you from our module number 1 about this importance of these luxury cars for our discussion and the notion of that sometimes we may value something, but that thing is not amazing for us in the long term. And something that may be truly amazing and truly impactful and truly powerful and truly satisfying for us in the long term is something that we may be neglecting. So it's very important for us to keep the right focus as we discussed in Module 1. And I'd like to remind you of the importance of working towards advising people and bringing people to the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And again, quickly, remember the hand pump, keep your focus on, get more value, more reward, more tawfiq, and more facilitation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So let's dive into our topic for today. And before that, I would like you to pause for a second or a few seconds or a minute and think about what are some of the things that you have been learning so far and how do you plan to implement it. I know that you may have the temptation to continue watching the video, but it's important for you that when I ask you a question for you to pause the video and think about the question, because that is when you will internalize the content, you will think about it, you will engage with it, and you will come up with amazing ideas that we may not even have thought of. Okay, so hopefully you did that. Now in this module, we want to only cover these 2 topics, like what is a coach, what is convert coaching about, and a recap of how you would be finding new and renewed Muslims. And that's it. These are the 2 main things we want to cover for this module. So we talked about this thing, right? How people come in and how they start disappearing and so on and so forth. We talked about this video before, and we talked about what our view should be when we are thinking about a convert, a new Muslim, and so on and so forth. So in terms to inspire you of what are the possibilities, we talked about the case of this brother and how he was mentored, performed Hajj. There's another brother who was remotely mentored and coached, and some testimonials that we shared with you earlier. So there's a lot of opportunity, and I hope you'll take this seriously in terms of learning, practicing, and then going out there and delivering these services. So what is a coach? So here's a link to a video where I describe these points, and it's a few minutes long video, not too long, so you may be interested in watching it if you like. So in a general way, the idea is that a coach will help the person speed up the progress and will make it more efficient. The strategies, the tasks, the rituals, the habits that the person is developing, the coach will help them to be efficient, will help them to be speeding up their progress and to make it consistent, and so on and so forth. So the coach first helps you get clarity, helps the person get clarity of what is it that they are trying to achieve, what are their goals, why is it important, and why is it a must for them to achieve those goals. What would happen if they do not achieve these goals? And then it will be a discussion of, okay, what are some of the steps that you can take to get closer and closer to the goals? The coach may suggest some ideas, may discuss, may brainstorm, may inspire, may encourage, may even challenge, and may sometimes point out that, look, you want to achieve this, but you have a high desire of this. Because of that, you're split, right? And when you try to move towards this direction, your desires, your fears, or what have you, stall you, or they pull you back, or they put you on a different direction, and that's why you're not able to reach to your goal. So the coach may be able to see that not being engaged emotionally and not being engaged within the action, but being outside of the action as a second person, as a second pair of eyes, may be able to see that. So these are some of the things to keep in mind. So the coach will strengthen the desires and passion by connecting the goal with strong emotions, setting daily and weekly habits and rituals, regular check-ins or follow-up for progress checks, reviews, accountability. And then we'll identify, look, you are not doing these habits, these actions because of these obstacles. So let's try to discuss how you can overcome these obstacles. and so on and so forth. And obviously, the coach will also don't have to do this all by themselves, but they have access to other coaches. So that's one of the things that is very important for you to remember. And also, as you recruit other coaches, that look, you don't have to do it everything by yourself. You have access to people who have more experience, and will together do it as a team by the facilitation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So a coach is not going to go and do the work for you, right? You have the person that you're coaching will have to do the learning, will have to make the habits, will have to practice the habits, and so on and so forth. But the coach is there to help, encourage, inspire, plan, challenge, follow up, and so on and so forth. So if you were to summarize in some blocks, that we'll try to know them, we'll try to understand what motivates them, what their passions are, what their values are, what are they running away from. So it's important for the coach to understand these things so that they can make the right analogies, right examples, and so on and so forth. He or she will inspire them and motivate them to look, yes, it's hard, but you're getting closer. What will happen if you achieve, and so on and so forth. And they will help them to set the goals at the pace of the person you're coaching, not at your own pace. So you may want to say, okay, let's plan to do all this in this week, but see what the person actually wants to do. What is their must? What is their standard for themselves? And then, yes, slowly you can stretch the goals. You can make it more challenging, but essentially they are the ones who are setting these goals. And you will empower them. How will you empower them? By suggesting ideas, making connections, sharing stories, sharing examples from others, helping them network, and so on and so forth. And we'll talk about that later as well, this point of empowerment. And then you will follow up with them and hold them accountable. This follow-up can be daily, every other day, or once a week, or so on and so forth. And we'll talk about the actual follow-up process as well later on. So in terms of your care, you care about them, okay? You may have to sometimes do the dawah, right? Because sometimes they may have some shubuhat, they may have some doubts, and you may have to wear your dawah hat and discuss the points that you would discuss with a non-Muslim, or you may have to discuss that with their non-Muslim family members. But again, you don't have to do everything yourself. So whenever you realize that, look, I have a gap here, you can engage other people from the community, from the center, from the organization to help you with those different tasks. So you may be sharing reminder with them, because sharing content is very important. And we'll talk about the notion of content and the importance of content for the soul, just like, or even more, as is the importance of healthy food for the body. And again, we have been talking about, look, this is proactive work. It's not a support role where you are, going backwards and you're just sitting and relaxing. If the person has a problem, they will call you or they will email. You are proactive. Okay, so obviously don't forget to make dua for yourself and for them. Okay, don't forget to tap into the divine power that you have. Don't forget to tap into divine assistance and the barakah and the blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So coaching is not about just like teaching them basics, technical knowledge. It's not only about just listening to their concerns. It's a proactive thing, okay? It's not a listening friend. It's more about results. It's a proactive role. And we'll talk about, again, everything in detail. We're just trying to make sure that we understand what we're talking about, coach, because different people have different understandings. And it's not only about, okay, I'm just going to hang out, just be their buddy, and you're not focused on their growth, right? A lot of time people are like, okay, I'm just going to be a friend. And many people need friend, and that's why they come into Islam. But you want to take that opportunity. And what is the benefit of that relationship if it's not helping them sort out their life? Your goal is not to keep them attached to you, but your goal is to help them improve their life holistically, and more importantly, and most importantly, the relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So as we do that, remember, don't forget your own self. Don't forget your own self, and make sure that you're doing it for sincerely for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're providing consistent quality of your volunteering. You're not shying away from this job. If they don't reply to you, if you don't see the results, you just don't stop doing the job. If you don't stop fulfilling the commitment that you have made within the team. And obviously, as we discussed earlier, the concept of desensitization is very important. So you have to make sure that your worship is up to the level that you want it to be, and you're growing in your worship, you're growing in your knowledge, and so on and so forth. And obviously, if you may encounter someone that may confuse you or be very challenging for you, be outside of your scope, so make sure that you get the help, and then, or you pass them on to someone else, and then you move on to someone that you're more comfortable with. In terms of benefit, it will help you understand yourself. It will help you, make your own goals and grow in your own goals, and have a better quality of life, and you achieve your full potential. So, in terms of commitment, how much time do you have to commit? Well, you can do it by an hour, 2 hours a week, and we try to encourage it. Look, within those hour or those 2 hours, you allocate half an hour or 45 minutes for your own personal education as well, and then some time for your follow up with the person that you are coaching. But remember, it's a super important thing. Look, you're not making decisions for them. You're helping them. You're coaching them. They are the one who are in the driving seat. Okay, you're just suggesting. They have to take that decision. Okay, should I take this exit? Should I set this goal? What should I do in this scenario and that scenario? Okay, so now as a recap of how would you find these people can be found by your masjid forwarding a contact to you, right? Once you establish that relationship, you can start a conversation when you see someone taking shahada. You can start a conversation when you see non-practicing people, people lacking purpose, people finding emptiness in their life, new faces in the masjid, convert marriages, doing social events for viewers, conferences, conferences. A lot of people are inspired and they're excited, but then they don't take action. Okay, taking advantage of meetup.com for your own events, or finding other events that are happening and attending them, and other social media, Facebook groups and things like that can be a good way for you to find potential people to mentor and to coach. And that's it for this module. I hope that was a good short module. I know our first two modules were slightly longer than what we wanted them to be. So this is it. Until next time, Subhanaka Allahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.